What about the Hellgate Bridge? I've heard it's a bridge over troubled water.
Ladies and gentlemen, I bid you a warm welcome to an exhilarating English lesson from Enzo's Butler, Exceptional English Club. Today, we delve into the captivating world of elevated dialogues, exploring the bridges that transformed the Big Apple. Our journey commences with a thought-provoking dialogue that unveils a plethora of vocabulary treasures. Brace yourselves for words like robust, transformative, burrow, and penchant, which will surely add a touch of sophistication to your linguistic repertoire. Furthermore, we shall unravel the mysteries of phrasal verbs, those elusive combinations of words that possess the power to elevate your communication skills. Prepare to be enlightened by the likes of perk up, named after, go into, and shape up. These linguistic gems will undoubtedly breathe life into your conversations. But that's not all, my esteemed learners. We shall also unravel the secrets of idioms, those peculiar sayings that add flair and finesse to your spoken English. Brace yourselves for expressions such as off by a hair, a whisker, an inch, a cut above the rest, and devoid of, which will undoubtedly impress your interlocutors. Once we have soaked in the knowledge from our enlightening dialogue, we shall put our comprehension skills to the test with a series of thought-provoking questions. Fear not, for I shall guide you through this challenging terrain, ensuring that you grasp the essence of the material. And finally, my dear learners, we shall conclude our journey with a series of exercises aimed at solidifying your grasp of the newly acquired vocabulary, phrasal verbs, and idioms. Allow me to reassure you that with dedication and enthusiasm, you shall emerge from this endeavor with a heightened command of the English language. Let us embark on this educational voyage together, with a thirst for knowledge and a determination to excel. May this lesson be a stepping stone towards your linguistic aspirations.
Enzo, a curious and passionate individual with a penchant for architecture and history, is crossing the Brooklyn Bridge into Manhattan with his knowledgeable butler. They are on their way to a meeting, but the journey becomes a learning experience as they discuss the transformative bridges of New York City.
Sir, as we cross this magnificent structure, the Brooklyn Bridge, do you perceive the monumental effort and ingenious engineering that went into its creation?
Indeed, Butler, it's a cut above the rest, shaping up the landscape of this vibrant city, but enlighten me more about its history.
Very well, sir. The Brooklyn Bridge was a marvel of its time, a true testament to the vision of John Roebling and his family. It was a time when Brooklyn was not a borough but the third largest city in America. Can you imagine the inconvenience and danger when the only way to get between different parts of New York City was to use a ferry?
Quite unimaginable, Butler. It must have been devoid of connectivity before the bridges came into existence. So, the Brooklyn Bridge was the first to brace up and square off against the mighty East River.
Precisely, sir. It was a technological marvel, with its towers being the tallest structures in Manhattan and Brooklyn at the time. The bridge had to front onto the river without interrupting the shipping traffic, thus it stands 135 feet above high tide. It's a combination of a suspension and a cable stay bridge, a masterpiece that took monumental effort to scale down the challenges of its time.
Fascinating, and I heard that the towers sit on foundations of wood, is that correct?
Indeed, sir. The towers sit on caissons, a French word meaning chest. These were huge wooden structures, floated into the middle of the river, and then sunk to the bottom. Men would then work in these caissons, digging down until they hit bedrock. It was a low-tech method, and many lives were lost due to the bends, a condition caused by the compressed air in the caissons.
It's tragic, Butler. So, John Roebling, the chief engineer, he didn't get to see the completion of his dream?
Unfortunately, no, sir. After a fatal accident, he succumbed to tetanus. His son, Washington Roebling, took over the project but also fell victim to the bends. It was Washington's wife, Emily Roebling, who pulled herself together and saw the project through to completion. She was the first to cross the bridge, symbolizing victory with a rooster in tow.
Remarkable woman. Now what about the Hellgate Bridge? I've heard it's a bridge over troubled water.
Aptly put, sir. The Hellgate Bridge, connecting Astoria, Queens to Randalls and Ward's Island, is another marvel, contrasting steel work of the span with the stonework of the towers. It was built during World War I and was so precise that when the arches from either side met, they were off by only 5/16 of an inch.
That's mind-boggling, and it was targeted by the Nazis during World War II.
Correct, sir. It was a high-value bridge, connecting Long Island to the mainland in the Bronx. It was essential for the movement of goods and people, making it a target during the war. The towers, designed by Henry Hornbostel, resembled triumphal arches, adding a touch of elegance to its robust structure.
It's a shame about the fading paint though. It could have been the jewel of the city. Moving on, Butler, tell me about the McCombs Dam Bridge.
The McCombs Dam Bridge, sir, is a swing bridge spanning the Harlem River. It's a Pratt truss designed by Alfred Pancoast Bowler, allowing it to pivot 90 degrees to let boat traffic pass. It connects Yankee Stadium to what was the Polo Grounds, and now Rucker Park.
So it's a bridge that had to shape up to the needs of the boats as well as the people. And it's named after Alexander McComb.
Indeed, sir. Alexander McComb and his son ran a ferry service at the same spot before the bridge was built. The dam they built was such a nuisance that it was eventually destroyed, and the Supreme Court sided with the people who breached it.
Interesting. Now the High Bridge, it's the oldest surviving bridge in New York City, isn't it?
Correct, sir. The High Bridge was originally an aqueduct, bringing fresh water to Manhattan. It was crucial in preventing cholera outbreaks due to polluted local water sources. It was designed by John Bloomfield Jarvis, the chief engineer of the Erie Canal, and was a popular recreation spot before the Brooklyn Bridge was built.
It's sad that the rhythmic repetition of the arches was destroyed. It must have been a sight to behold. Lastly, the George Washington Bridge, the busiest bridge in the world.
Indeed, sir. The George Washington Bridge, completed in 1931 by Othman Ammon, more than doubled the span across the Hudson River. It was a pure suspension bridge, with towers designed by Cass Gilbert, originally intended to be clad in granite and concrete. However, due to the Depression, they were left as expressive steel structures, coming in under budget and ahead of schedule.
And it makes $1 million a day in revenue for the Port Authority. That's quite a way to land in riches. And the Little Red Lighthouse, it's still there, right?
Yes, sir. The Little Red Lighthouse was there before the bridge and was saved from demolition due to public outcry. It stands as a symbol, even featuring in a famous children's book.
Butler, this journey has been enlightening. These bridges didn't just get together to connect lands, but they also connected lives and stories. They are more than just structures, they are living, breathing entities that have witnessed the city's evolution.
Very well said, sir. They are indeed the veins of this great city, allowing it to thrive and grow. Now, shall we stop off for a quick refreshment before we get to our meeting?
A splendid idea, Butler. Let's perk up with a cup of tea before we tackle the meeting.
Very well, sir. After all, it's essential to brace up before such engagements.
Comprehension questions. Question number 1. How were the towers of the Brooklyn Bridge built? Question number 2. What analogy does Enzo use to describe the bridges? Question number 3. What is the McCombs Dam Bridge known for? Question number 4. What was the original purpose of the High Bridge? Vocabulary multi-choice. The mayor declared that Staten Island will become its own, what? Separate from Manhattan. A. Stonework. B. Perceive. C. City. D. Municipality. E. Borough. The abandoned building was marked for what? To make way for a modern skyscraper. A. Towing. B. Demolition. C. Destruction. D. Redevelopment. E. Inconvenience. Sarah has a what? For exploring ancient ruins and learning about their historical significance. A. Penchant. B. Love. C. Steel. D. Passion. E. Towing. The barren land was what? Of any signs of life after the destructive hurricane? A. Void. B. Devoid. C. Stonework. D. Lighthouse. E. Empty. Phrasal verbs multi-choice. The architects had to what? Against the strong wind to build the skyscraper. A. Brace up. B. Fight up. C. Brace steel. D. Side with. E. Named after. Archaeologists had to what? To uncover the ancient ruins beneath the city. A. Go into. B. Dig harder. C. Track down. D. Take over. E. Dig down. Artists and musicians often what? In small cafes to exchange ideas. A. Take over. B. Perk up. C. Meet together. D. Get down. E. Get together. Let's what? The details of how this historic bridge was meticulously constructed. A. Go into. B. Get together. C. Made it. D. Go through. E. Get into. Idioms and phrases. Definition: superior to others. A. A touch of elegance. B. A cut above the rest. C. Devoid of. D. Off by a hair, a whisker, an inch. Definition: a remarkable or impressive view. A. Fall victim to. B. Under budget. C. A sight to behold. D. A cut above the rest. Definition: a small amount of grace or refinement. A. Devoid of. B. A sight to behold. C. Over troubled water. D. A touch of elegance. Definition: lacking or without. A. Devoid of. B. A sight to behold. C. Under budget. D. A cut above the rest. Definition: become a casualty of. A. A sight to behold. B. Fall victim to. C. Devoid of. D. Over troubled water.
I express my utmost gratitude for your attentive ear. If you enjoyed this lesson, kindly subscribe and share it with your friends. Should you seek further enlightenment in the intricacies of the English language, I do cordially invite you to pay a visit to Enzo's Butler.club and join our growing community of English enthusiasts. I am Enzo's Butler, always at your service.